The brand new update 2.2 has finally arrived. There is literally so many features. Why did it take them so long? Oh, that's why. Yeah, it's a lot. There's a new main level. It's just a cool... What? You're going backwards? And what is that? Okay, now this is just ridiculous.
And if you put the stress on the wrong syllable, it sounds ridiculous.
On top of that, there's the tower, which features free-moving platforming levels. I did not read that with the right enunciation.
It sounds ridiculous.
Free-moving platforming levels! Okay, this is a lot, so let's break it down. So, if you're struggling with trying to figure out how all the new stuff works in the editor, yeah, same thing happened to me. Firstly, we have the brand new game mode type called Swing. It functions kind of like the ship, except the controls are based on toggle input rather than pulse input. What does that mean? Now you'll notice I have problems speaking. Now you'll notice I have other flying game types here too. Notice the new icon on the side. These are present on all portals, just for additional player accessibility. It's also very unreadable, so I don't know how this helps anyone. All flying game modes now have a new feature. If you select the object and hit edit, you can enable free flying. Normally, when you enter ship or UFO mode, you'll have ground borders on the top and bottom of the screen. Now, you can enable free flying. No more boundaries. The camera simply moves to catch up if you fly too high or low. Camera controls, zooming. Using the zoom feature, you can now zoom in or out the camera. Press edit object and configure the settings. There you go. Zoom. Camera freeze. You can now use the new static camera, like this. This is a little bit more complicated. It took me a second to figure this out. Place in the camera freeze option, the static camera. You need to pick an object for the camera to center around. This is the object I will be picking, this block right here. Select the object. You can hold shift to select. Press edit object. No, don't press edit object, that's wrong. Press edit group and choose a group. You can press the next free option if you want. Add to group and then choose that group as the center point. Now the camera will fix around that new object. That doesn't make any sense, whatever, it's good enough. I improvise all of that, that could be all wrong. Rotation! You can now rotate the camera. It's kind of like the rotate trigger. You can even add easing to it. Place in the trigger and configure the settings here. You can choose the amount of degrees you want and how long it takes, but this option here doesn't make any sense. Non-linear travel. This is the brand new feature, that's the main feature. Right to left travel. You can travel in reverse by using the reverse trigger. The moment you hit it, you'll instantly switch directions. If you're wondering how this affects level length, while you're testing the level, you'll notice the progress bar doesn't match how long the level actually is. You will have to first verify the level by playing through it once normally. Then the progress bar will be able to play back the recorded time it took to complete, and it will finally be accurate to the real level. Vertical travel. You can now travel vertically up and down inside of Geometry Dash. To get started, you'll need to use this trigger. It looks like an arrow with a little bit of a plus sign or bandage looking thing on the side. If you rotate it like this, you can change the falling direction. Now, I can climb walls! Combine this with the camera rotation feature, and you can do something that looks like this. You can now make the camera upside down like this. It's different than regular upside down mode because you're actually right side up and the camera's upside down. Okay, yeah, I guess that's not that different. Well, you can do it if you want because the new level does it. Gameplay objects. There is some new gameplay objects to worry about. I mean, have fun with. We have some new rings. They added several new rings, and please, stop calling them orbs. Look, the official in-game name says ring. It says ring right there. Why do you call them the spider ring? And pad? Or is it called spider? I don't know what this is called, but if you hit it, you'll automatically switch to the other side, like this. And it will switch your gravity, just like the spider. I don't know what it's called. There's also a pad version, which does the same thing. The diamond ring has been added. I don't know what this does. The F trigger has been added, introducing the fall trigger. Place a fall trigger on an object to allow the player to fall onto it. That is how this section of Dash was created. For some reason, this took me hours to figure out how to use. Time manipulation. You can now enter slow motion and do other tricks with time. All right, guys, so here we are in the GD editor. Now, don't get confused like me. I thought it was this time trigger right here, but the one we're actually looking for, we got a lot of time-related ones, so it gets a bit confusing. Which one is it? It's none of them. It's actually this one, called Time Warp. Let's place it in our target spot. Time mod. This is time modulation. I'm just gonna slide this down so we can see what it does. Well, let me leave it on 1. Here's what it does normally, nothing. Now, I'm going to change it. I'm gonna set it to less than 1. 0.65, let's try that. And there it is, slow motion. 0.30. There we go, and that is our time modulation. Random! You can now randomly have things happen, but please don't do that. That sounds very unfair. Unless you're doing decorations, that'd be pretty cool. Or mini games, that might be cool too. So next up, we have the random trigger. So here it is. Let's say we want this object right here to move randomly up or down. So select your object, edit group, and I've added it to group 3. All right, now I'm going to move group 3. What the? Oh. All right, we're gonna target group 3, and I'm gonna move it up. And I'm just gonna have a similar trigger that does the same exact thing, moving it down. Now I'm gonna add this trigger to group 1, and this trigger to group 2. Now I'm just gonna do 1 and 1, chance 50%, and let's see what happens. Absolutely nothing. What did I do wrong? This is the first time I've done this. Wait, what did I do wrong? What? Silly me, I think I have to set these to spawn trigger. And there you go. Move down, move up, down, move down, moved up. That's random. You can now manipulate physics with physics manipulation. You can force a momentum change. For example, when you're jumping, your vertical momentum has been updated. Well, without the player jumping, you can update vertical momentum too. This is great for messing with the player, I guess. Or maybe some interesting transitions, like making a jump that wouldn't have otherwise made it far enough, make it far enough. Gravity controllers. You can control gravity using gravity controllers. Try making stronger gravity, weaker gravity, or even negative gravity. I won't be going too in depth because this is literally like a second game within the game. But to summarize, you have freedom of movement. Freely move left and right, and move independently from a constant direction. Music plays casually in the background. It's not tied to movements like in a traditional level. It's kind of like a Mario game. You can even place in your own sound effects, which is very weird. There's also checkpoints. They look like practice mode checkpoints. This game mode can get really advanced, so those are the basics to start off with. If you want to learn more, you're gonna have to find out yourself. VFX have been introduced to the game. Yeah, you thought there was already enough features they added. Now you can place in VFX and shaders. You can do, I forgot what it's called, it's not called anaglyph, chromatic aberrations. You can put screen distortions, screen wobbles, you can put sepia filters, black and white filters, all sorts of crazy screen filters. The middle ground has been introduced. It is kind of like the background, but it sits in front, and it scrolls at a different speed to give a nice sense of depth. A new feature has been introduced. Change background, ground, and middle ground at any time you want. Using this trigger, you can change it. Thank you for making this far. Have you figured out how to use any of these new features on your own? Is there anything you want to learn more about? I can make a future video if you want. Thanks for stopping by, and goodbye.